Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. In this video, we're going to use the F distribution to perform a hypothesis test on sales by region. A quality control analyst wants to control the variability in the diameter of ball bearings produced by two different machines. So the first thing we have is we have the machine being machine X and machine Y, and we have a sample size for machine X is 20, and the sample size for machine Y is 25. So the sample variance in machine X is 1.5%, and the sample variance in machine 9 is 0.9%. So you've got to set your hypothesis. So the null hypothesis is the variances are equal, and the alternate hypothesis is the variances are not equal. So you've got an alpha, which is your significance level, of 0.05, and then you have a test statistic equals C7 divided by C8. So that's going to be 0.015 divided by 0.009. So that's going to give you a test statistic of 1.67. You have degree of freedom for X is B7 minus 1 being 19, and a degree of freedom for Y being B8 minus 1, which is 24. So you've got a two-tailed p-value. You calculate that as 2 times min, brackets f dot dist, brackets B14 your test statistics, comma your degree of freedom for X, your degree of freedom for Y, and a true, brackets, comma 1 minus f dot dist, and B14 is your test statistic, comma degree of freedom for X, degree of freedom for Y, and true as well. And that gives you a two-tailed p-value of 0.23. So it's already, if our alpha is 0.05 and the two-tailed p-value is 0.23, then that's going to tell you that it's going to be, you're going to fail to reject the null hypothesis because it's greater than 0.05. But what we'll do is if B18, that's your p-value, is greater than B13, that's your alpha, but we'll say greater than or equal to. It's going to be greater than or equal to B13, you're going to fail to reject the null hypothesis. Otherwise, you're going to reject the null hypothesis. So, but you could tell without the performing the code, you could tell just by looking at the p-value, since it's greater than the alpha, then the null hypothesis, you're going to fail to reject the null hypothesis. But the thing about that is if you have a group of hypothesis test that you're going to need to perform, then it's probably better to go ahead and do the interpretation with Excel so you make sure that you get it right. But just only one, you can eyeball it and get it right. So now what I've done is I've created a graph. So you've got your machine X is 20 and your machine Y is 25. So you can eyeball it, and you can see that the sample size of machine Y is 5 more than the sample size of machine X, and the sample variance of machine X is greater than the sample variance of machine Y. But that's it. So that concludes this video. The next video, we're going to be performing a hypothesis test on another distribution, and I hope that you decide to watch it.